WPCD, this is Deane Geiken, director of the radio station, and today we have some special guests. I mean, we have a truckload of people in the studio today, and they are special guests here at Parkland College. They are from the First Gig Rock and Roll Camp that has been going on for 6 years here at Parkland College. And
welcome to the Local Glow. I'm glad you've tuned in. Now, today's episode, this one, it's for the kids.
And tell me a little bit about what's going on with the First Gig.
Well, First Gig is it's essentially a week-long program for kids aged 10 to 17 where we get together, we have a audition process the first day, split them up into groups, and we spend the whole week teaching them how to play a handful of songs and how to work together as a group. We have...
First Gig Rock Camp is a summertime gem found in a few cities around central Illinois. The week-long day camp brings in young kids from around the region to get together and try on the rock star life for a few days. From learning songs to photo shoots to radio interviews to Skype sessions where national musicians share stories of life on the road and how to find success in music, First Gig brings the stage to the next generation of hometown heroes.
Now, this has been going on for 6 years. How did this become something that happened?
Our fearless leader, Peter Blackman, actually initially had the concept for the camp.
It all started with Pete. About 6 years ago, he came up with the idea for First Gig Rock Camp, hoping to try something new. He brought it to Guido Esteves, another local music mogul and a longtime partner of his, and they got together with some other friends and made it happen.
We're glad you're here because
they first connected with the Danville Area Community College in Danville, Illinois, who quickly threw their support behind the camp and gave them a home and some legitimacy, too. Before too long, they had their first years scheduled, advertised, and fast approaching. And with their sights set high, they dove right in. Though registration at their first camp in Danville fell a bit short of expectations, with only about 15 kids in attendance, they now run 4 camps each summer in 3 different communities, including a camp built just for kids with special needs, with up to 35 to-be rock stars attending a single camp. They've gone from just trying to survive each week of camp to now forming and sharing a distinct and powerful mission of fueling these kids' passion for music while letting them feel good about taking a serious look at a future in music.
You're listening to the Local Glow.
You're listening to The Local Glow, an independent podcast out of Chicago, Illinois, about the incredible, rich, and enriching music and arts communities happening right now, in your backyard, and you don't even know it yet. I heard about First Gig Rock Camp in the spring of 2017. I was on the phone with Guido Esteves talking about his recently rebranded venue, 51 Main, in Champaign, Illinois, when he offhandedly mentioned that he'd be busy all summer putting on a rock camp for kids. He regaled me with stories of pipsqueak rock stars trying on the gigging life for size, conjuring images of Dewey Finn surrounded by grade schoolers shredding for the first time. Pretty quick, I asked if I could come down and visit one of the sessions, meet the kids, and see what was going on at First Gig Rock Camp, smack dab in the middle of Cornfield Town, Illinois. Guido, of course, said sure. On a sunny day in July, I made my way south to Champaign, Illinois, pulling into Parkland College, where the camp was taking place. I wandered the labyrinth that is Parkland's campus for a while, following the distant sounds of classic rock and rowdy voices, and before too long, I found myself in a student lounge filled with a couple dozen kids and a few cheerful-looking camp counselors. The campers, ranging in age from 7 to 17, had just finished demolishing a few stacks of cheesy pizza and were filtering out to their various afternoon activities. I pulled out my recorder and introduced myself to the folks running the show, hoping to learn more about this camp that Guido had told me about months before, as well as the stories and people behind it.
What is your role here? What does Pete do? Everything?
He's the grand Alfred, as we were talking. We had superhero day yesterday, so he's the Alfred. He makes everything run smoothly.
Well, it's kind of my baby. I mean, I came up with the idea, and then I immediately took it to Guido. In fact, I remember I messaged Guido at like literally 11 o'clock at night on like a Friday night, and he happened to be off. So I was talking to him, and I said, Guido, I have an idea. And as is par for the course, that's how stuff, everything we've ever done together, that's how it started.
And so, First Gig came to be. They've been received pretty well, and over the years now, they've had hundreds of kids participating in their camps. Kids coming from all across the region, some from as far as St. Louis, Missouri, 5 hours away, in the case of my new friend Mayah Bickers, who Pete then introduced me to.
That's awesome. Tell me everything. How many years were you in for?
How many years was I here?
Three.
3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Cool.
Mayah became my tour guide for the day, and she led me all around Parkland College, where the camp was being held. As we wandered our way to the studio of the college radio station for a special featured interview, she told me a bit about herself.
And then they were like, oh, by the way, we have this.
She originally joined First Gig as a camper when she was in 8th or 9th grade. For all the fun they were having and all the lasting friendships she was making, Mayah wound up sticking around all the way until she aged out. And now she's back as a sort of intern, kind of a gopher really, helping wherever help is needed. She told me that her years as a camper had been life-changing, and that's what kept her coming back. As she was experiencing the relentless awkwardness of middle and early high school, having a tough time connecting with folks back home, she found a new community that she felt she could call her own. All the kids at First Gig, whether 7 or 17, were there for the same reason: music. And all the instructors and organizers, they were there to share their passions, stories, and skills. And that was a valuable gift for Mayah and her musical peers to receive in this creatively cultivated, zero-judgment space.
Like, it's like a family. Like,
Yeah, it seems that way.
and, like, I've noticed even when I'm just, like, separate from, like, actually being a camper, you still learn a lot. Like, I was kind of at that awkward stage in life where, like, I didn't really fit in and stuff. And then here, like, it was like everybody's here for the same reason. Mm-hmm. And it made, like, I've gotten friendships that are, like, stronger than anything. Like, I live in St. Louis and I come all the way up here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where are you staying for the week?
At Amy and Guido's.
Perfect.
Yeah, they've become, like, second parents to me. Like, pretty much, like, Amy, Guido, Tom, Shelly, they've all just become my parents at this point. Like,
That's awesome.
Pretty soon, we had made it to our first stop.
All right, we are back here at WPCD, and in the studio we have the band, None of the Above, from the First Gig rock and roll camp that is happening here at Parkland College. And please introduce yourself right there on that microphone.
I'm Eliza. I play bass.
And how old are you?
14.
14, okay. And so you say you play the bass. Are you the only bass player in the group?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been playing?
2 years.
2 years. And this is your first rock and roll camp here?
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm just going to ask these questions out, and any of you can answer them. If you do have an answer, just get in on the microphone. So there's the live performance coming up. So are you guys nervous? Are any of you nervous?
A little.
A little.
Somewhat nervous, but I feel that our band is ready.
So what 3 songs are you going to perform?
We're going to do Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
Really?
Yeah. Valerie by Amy Winehouse, and Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, of course.
Some of you are kind of young, especially it was Caroline. She's, 7? She ever even heard of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees?
I don't think she had.
I've got to say, I was a bit jealous of this part. WPCD is a great local music station, playing an impressive variety of indie tunes from across the country. I used to listen to this station all the time when I was living in Champaign-Urbana. They also do a great job of featuring local music culture. I actually tried to get my band an interview on the station a while back to no avail, but hey, no hard feelings.
So I'm going to go and talk to some of these. This is the band, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Total of 8. Yep.
Total 8 in this band, and on the microphones right now, starting off with Forrest. Forrest, what part do you play in the band named None of the Above?
Well, I play guitar along with Gavin and David.
Okay, and how old are you?
I am 12 years old.
You're 12 years old. So, is this your first one, or have you done this before? Is this your first band?
This is my first time
First time here? And what are your impressions so far? Are you having a good time?
Yes, it's
All
a really
right.
fun camp.
What's the most difficult thing you've had to do so far?
I'd say learning the solos on Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd.
Okay, and that's not something that's easily learned, I would imagine. So, okay, now we're going over to someone down here, and you said Jeremy, you said the ages are from 10 to what?
10 to 17.
Okay, we're going to go to Caroline. How old are you, sweetie?
7.
7. So she's under the mark.
We do make exceptions.
Okay, that's
from time
good.
to time.
That's great. That's great. So tell me what you do with the band None of the Above.
I sing.
You sing. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Are you? Do you have a solo?
Yes.
You do. Okay, and you're practicing the Pink Floyd song too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
The kids were excited. It was written all over their faces, however cool they were trying to play it. As this was the first impression of the camp I was getting, I was pretty excited too. This would have blown my mind when I was their age. It would have made me feel like what I was doing with music, however small and unrefined, was cool, important, and worth other people's time. I'm sure there are a dozen cruddy iPhone recordings of the interview taped by overjoyed parents sitting in sticky leather car seats in sunny parking lots across town, chronicling the moment to tout at the next family gathering or for the kids to have on hand in case their friends back home don't believe them.
Now, moving down the line again, we have Lorelei. Lorelei, how old are you and where are you from?
I am 9 and I'm from Champaign.
Okay, and what role do you have in the band?
I'm a vocalist.
You're a vocalist? Okay, so you're working with Emma over here. Do you have a solo in the song, or do you guys share everything when you're doing it?
Only for Another Brick in the Wall, we all share it.
Okay.
But for the other 2 songs, we have solos.
Okay, so you guys are singing more than one song, is that correct? Yeah, they're all nodding, which in radio is bad. You want to say yes?
Yes.
Okay, exactly. All right, and then still on the microphone, we still have 2 other artists that are in the band, but they're not behind a microphone right now. But Gavin, what do you do?
I am one of the lead guitarists.
Okay. And you are how old?
I'm 17.
So you are at the top of the spectrum, and then we've got someone down here who's 7. That's pretty incredible. I mean, Jeremy, what's it like? You got all these different skill levels and stuff. Is it tough to, and I'll get right back to Gavin here, is it tough to kind of get it all together?
It's certainly challenging, but that's part of what makes it so fun. And, there's a great dynamic that occurs over, the course of the week where, for example, with Emma being the oldest vocalist, paired up with Lorelei and Caroline, she's kind of acted as a mentor as well, and kind of, being a role model for them. Similarly with the guitar players, everybody feeds off each other.
Right.
So, while it's getting the ball rolling
is
the most difficult part, but once, the pieces start,
Starts to
coming
coalesce
together,
and
it gels very quickly, amazingly quickly, actually.
How many years have you been doing first gig?
This is my 2nd year.
No kidding. Are you going to do as many years as possible? Are you going to go the whole time?
This is Lorelei, who you just heard on the radio interview. Thankfully, she and Caroline had a few minutes open up in their rock star schedule after the interview for me to pick their brains a bit. Lorelei, a native of Champaign, told me she had never sung before joining First Gig last year, and here she is a year later, back for more. I asked her what her favorite part of the camp is.
Probably Probably the performance.
Were you scared your first year when you were
Yeah.
performing? It's hard to perform, right? It's scary performing in front of people.
I mean it. Playing a show or performing any sort of music is scary. It's intimidating seeing a crowd of faces, whether familiar or not. And when you're in grade school, putting yourself out there, maybe for the first time, it's a special and intense moment. It's not easy to trust yourself enough to pick up a microphone, a guitar, drumsticks, anything, and go on stage and say, hey, this is my art, this is my thing, listen up. But these kids are doing it, surrounded by new friends and a positive vibe that says, you're going to nail this. And they're all scared. Maybe a few, if you asked, would say they're not, but trust me, they are. Because nerves are part of the gig. But they still can't wait, and I'm sure every year it blows them away and inspires and re-inspires them again to be an artist, make your music, have some fun. Anyway, we got to talking about their upcoming gig, and they told me about the badass outfits they've got planned. And I learned something. Chucks are definitely still in. Timeless, right?
I'm thinking about wearing my first gig shirt.
Nice.
I'm wearing this like dark lipstick color. My mom has the same exact lipstick color, so I'm wearing this really dark red shirt, and it has music boom boxes on it. And then I started complaining the first time I saw it because I didn't want the unicorn on there. But once I saw the blue pants with it, I was like totally, because I love blue. And so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wear some Chucks and some blue lipsticks and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to go to the store and I'm gonna get green nail polish because my favorite color is green. And I got a green and I got a green first gig shirt. Goes together. And then I'm gonna see if I can find any green lipstick.
Wow,
That'll be hard to find though. Yeah, that's not very. Actually, I think I saw a really disgusting looking green lipstick that you probably won't like, but I found it. It's yeah.
Thanks so much for talking, guys. I'll be there on Saturday, so I'll see you guys rocking out.
Okay.
I'll see your cool green lipstick and green nail polish.
And blue.
She's gonna get some green lipstick.
I'm gonna try to find. I'm gonna get blue turquoise.
Lipstick.
We're trying blue or turquoise.
That'll be hard to find, but that lipstick.
The Local Glow will be back in a moment.
Hi, this is Andrew, one-third of Chicago's psychedelic rock band Dead Lucid, and you're listening to The Local Glow, an independent Chicago-based podcast about experiencing community through local music and art. You can learn more about the podcast at thelocalglow.com and follow on Facebook and Instagram at The Local Glow. This independent podcast thrives on word of mouth, so be sure to tell your friends, and feel free to get in touch with us at thelocalglow@gmail.com to share your thoughts, curiosities, or story ideas. Thanks. Now back to the show.
So my tour of the camp, courtesy of Mayah, continued. Our next stop was a band practice, and on the way, Mayah told me about her post-high school aspirations. After falling a tad behind due to multiple school transfers, she's just finishing up on her last few credits now before graduation. And next up, she's got some bold plans in mind, unmistakably influenced by the time she spent over the last few years with First Gig Rock Camp, both as a student and as a volunteer.
What do you want to do when you get out of there?
I want to go to college to become a music therapist.
What made you interested in music therapy?
Well, I want to do something with music, and I was kind of looking at practical things. And last year, actually, I helped out at the First Gig Superstars, which is for mentally challenged kids. And it was like one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? Why don't I do something with like people that need help? Like, so like music therapy, it's just kind of like you work with different type of like mental disorders or physical. Like you just get them like moving and like getting a beat going, and like it does something in the brain, and it like works wonders. And so like I was like, that's what I want to do.
Before you volunteered at that camp, did you have interest in that field before, or is that where it started?
Well, I wanted to do something with music. I just didn't know what.
Right.
Yeah, so I was like, I was thinking more of the lines music performance, but I was like, it's so hard to like make a living off of being a musician, and I don't really want to be a struggling artist.
Minutes later, we'd made it to the band's practice room. The music was certainly a work in progress, with plenty of rough edges as the kids worked out the chords, beats, and harmonies with the help of an experienced instructor. But the pieces were falling into place over the week as they looked forward to the band's big moment at their showcase concert that weekend. And so have Mayah's plans in the year and a half since I met her that day in Champaign. She's just recently started her first year of college, studying piano at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, with the goal of eventually getting a master's degree in music therapy. So she's doing it. I was so excited to hear from her in our recent catch-up online that she's taking these big steps. The aspirations that she had shared musingly with me that day at Parkland don't seem so distant anymore. Her heart is in it, and she seems determined and enthusiastic and genuine despite the bumps she's run into along the way. There are great things ahead for her. Not to be too obnoxious, but it really gets me thinking about how chaotic life really is. I don't mean chaos as in disaster or people running around and screaming, but chaos like the flap of a butterfly's wings changing history. Like joining a camp one summer in high school, diving into a new and intimidating experience in attempts to find some friends, and walking away years later with a career you never would have guessed. A positive, encouraging, empowering environment can be a place where great things begin, where a life gets tilted into a whole new trajectory. A butterfly sanctuary, if you will. Okay, though, now I'm being obnoxious. Last stop, the studio, where None of the Above was about to lay down some tracks.
What's your name, by the way?
Forrest.
Forrest?
Yeah.
Dude, dope name. I'm Tariq. Have you seen Forrest Gump?
No, actually.
Really?
Wait, you've never seen Forrest Gump?
No, I haven't.
I bet you get that a lot, right?
Yeah.
I bet. What songs are you guys recording today?
Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd.
By this point, each band at the camp had spent close to a week together. Some kids were already tight friends going into the camp, and others arrived alone. Perhaps some knew each other from previous years, and perhaps a few sat by themselves for the first couple of days before Pete and his crew drew them into the first gig fold. Maybe one or two were already the rock star type and stepped onto the campus with the leather jacket and just woke up here to prove it, and I bet a couple came having no clue what to expect. Whoever they all were at the beginning of the week, they were here now, about to immortalize their time together, etching it into vinyl or at least MP3, like countless of their favorite bands before them. It seemed audacious to commit a mishmash of kids to a professional-grade live tracking session, like buying top-of-the-line oil paints for a beginner painter after just their first lesson. But it sets an ambitious stage. It invokes a reverence towards the art for the campers, one that you could see in their eyes as they nervously tried to channel their musical heroes who must have felt this way before, as they wandered the theater looking for cues and something to do with their hands while they waited for the engineer to hit record. Placing them in this situation was saying, "Here, take this chance and run with it." It was giving them the fine paints because their shot is worth the extra buck, and because who knows what they can do if we cut out the limitations. And so the bands locked down their first hit singles. They had their photo shoots, their networking time, their radio promo interview. That day came to a close, and their big debut was just around the corner.
I'll see you guys on Saturday.
Later.
Happy birthday!
The weekend came. Today was the kids' first gig's big first gig. Under the blazing Illinois prairie land sun, the stage was set, and the crowd of moms, dads, siblings, friends, and community folks gathered round in an uproarious chatter. Backstage, the kids staved off nerves with a similarly boisterous hubbub filled with goofy conversations and a jittery, apprehensive laughter.
What's up? You look amazing! The Void. Anybody want to talk to me about how dope their band is?
I'll do it. Yeah. Our band is the dopest.
Are you guys like all together?
No.
We are. We're a different group.
We four are.
Keep in mind that Noise Complaints original is more lit than theirs.
It's a lot grungy.
You guys are playing an original?
Yeah.
It's awesome. So you guys like every single part of the song, you guys put it together this week?
Yeah, all in a week.
That's amazing. So how nervous are you guys to perform?
Not at all. Never been live.
I'm excited.
Doing it. This is like my fifth year doing it.
Second year.
Dang.
First timer.
This is your first time? Are you nervous?
Yeah.
You got a well-experienced band behind you.
Yeah.
As showtime approached, Pete made his way to the stage. He welcomed the audience, which had by then swelled to around 200, thanking the staff, the sponsors, and the parents pulling the levers behind the camp and providing the pizzas. He shared his excitement about the success of this year's camp and said a few words about the importance of sharing music with these kids who found themselves thriving in the electrifying confines of rock and roll.
I will sum up with one very short concept, in that music is an emotion. It is very fluid. It is the end of your horrible day on the way home, listening to the radio and just listening to rage on the radio and getting into it because you need it. And it is the end of your day or the beginning of your day and you're in love with life and you're listening to whatever makes you happy. It's an emotion. And what we're doing in 6 days with these students and what we've done over 6 years with these students is fueled the passion for music. If there is a glimpse, a glimmer, that there's a love for music, this is what we do. This is for them. We love what we do, and those students give back to us tenfold whatever we give to them. And I have to thank you all as parents for allowing them to do this camp, for believing in them. I have to thank you. So a round of applause to the parents. I said this once in Decatur, at the Decatur camp. If you give your kids, you loan your kid $5, you're never gonna see that $5. It ain't coming back. If you give your kid music, they will spend the rest of their lives paying you back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is First Gig.
I swear, I could have been watching a movie. These kids were on fire. I wish you could have seen them on stage, too. It was great. A few just going nuts, dancing and jumping around and headbanging. Others grooving conservatively with a look of total and complete focus, breached by a shy grin after each successful verse. Others barely moved a muscle, wondering how the hell they got so far out of their comfort zone. But even the most stoic of kids couldn't help but smile when the shredding began. After the show, there was a bit of an after party in the building next door. It was a time for the bands to sign autographs and for the parents, friends, and fans to mingle and pick up t-shirts, photos, and more. The place was loud and packed full of kids at an all-new high, though after waiting through the crowd for a couple of minutes, I had the chance to speak with a few parents and guardians before heading back to Chicago. Here's Forrest's mom.
So he was really excited to be able to have, a more authentic experience on stage, and this is kind of his first time to do that, so it was really cool.
Right, yeah. And so, I get for you, what was it like seeing? Have you seen him perform in a setting like that before?
I haven't seen him perform in this particular type of setting before. I've seen him do piano recitals, so this was a much different thing, and I could tell that he enjoyed it and was really feeling the music, and I think it was really nice to see him playing in front of a live audience and getting that feedback from the crowd, so it was really cool. Yeah.
I also spoke with the grandparents of a young man who goes by Smokin' Joe, a kid who's turned to music to find his voice with some help from First Gig.
I can't tell you how much it's done for this kid. He is a 15-year-old boy being raised by grandparents who has some anger issues over his parents, and music saved his life. Absolutely. He's in a good spot. He spent the week with Guido.
Yeah.
The whole house. He put these kids up for the week.
Yeah.
Fed them, took care of them, yelled at them when they got in trouble. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like you've seen a lot of change in him as he's spent these weeks with them.
Musical change, attitude change. Yeah. I recommend it to everybody. I think they form lifetime friendships for sure.
It seems that way. Yeah, absolutely. Could you see him going into a career of music?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's his dream. That's what he wants to do.
Was that his dream before he went to the camp?
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty musical.
So here we are at the conclusions part of the episode, where I tactfully draw things together and offer some sort of prompt. I've been working on this episode for a good long while now, with work and, mostly just work getting in the way. For months, though, I've been excited to get it done, button it up and send it your way. Because it's a cool story. It's an exciting notion to try on the gigging life for size and to see how it feels. However, I'm guessing that probably 99% of you out there listening to this are A, not in Champaign, Danville, or Decatur, Illinois, and B, not between the ages of 7 and 17. If you are, check out this camp and tell the crew we say hello. If you're not, though, here's the takeaway. Whatever it looks like for your community, welcome the kids and every new face. Give them time, give them space. Give them the chance to live out loud and to do it their way. You can make their day and can give them their first foot in the door. Like Pete said, music is a gift that never stops giving back, and the very best of it will always pay forward, too. This episode of The Local Glow was produced by me, Tariq Shihadah. Many thanks to Guido and Pete for letting me crash the camp for a day, and to Mayah Bickers for being my guide and sharing her story. A big thanks also to Deane Geiken, director of WPCD, the Parkland College radio station, for letting us use clips from their interview with First Gig. Today's episode featured music from the talented Austin Duncan of Snail, that's Snayl, as well as the song Andromeda by Chicago acid rock trio Dead Lucid, which is gracing your ears as I speak. The Local Glow is an independent podcast based here in Chicago, Illinois. Our dream team includes Brian Doherty, Fred Villa, Victoria Thomas, and myself. You can learn more about this podcast on our website, thelocalglow.com, on Facebook or Instagram, @thelocalglow or by emailing us at thelocalglow@gmail.com. In fact, we'd be excited to hear from you. Send us your thoughts, curiosities, or story ideas. We'd love to connect. Be sure to follow us on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to have our episodes pumped straight into your feed.